Had to put that blunt out. Had to pick that Bible up. My grace was about to run out. Correction got them running. Cut them up like onions. You know how we coming. 1,000 times a dozen. Yeah, I'm gonna be beamed up, but I ain't no pyro. I need a window seat, like Erica Badu. Did it to the wedding. All I said was I do. All gas, no brake shoes. Stump them out with my cap boots. Is you hot or cold? Cause we on fire. Yeah, we back to set this thing on fire. Either you gon' ride or you gon' die. Feel that fire. Feel that fire. Feel that fire. Yeah, we back to set this thing on fire. Is you hot or cold? Cause we on fire.
If you lukewarm, he gon' spit you out. Always keep that fire, nah, I'm talking about. We don't play around, better watch your mouth. In the truth, we always keep that, yeah. Fire. Yeah, you know we got that. Fire. You don't got the fire, you a lie. We gon' burn you in the lake of fire. Don't believe me, go ask Jeremiah. Your poppy sitting, yeah, that boy lie. And unto him shall be your desire. No repentance for him, even if he cry. All you even do is, yeah, you gotta die. All of y'all gon' burn in the lake of fire. Esau gotta die in the lake of fire. We on fire. We ain't by this business, boy. The devil is a liar. We in and out of state. I'm burning rubber on these tires. Warrior minded, death only way I retire. Kingdom what I inspire. Descendants of the slaves, they souls never rested, so I heard them from the grave. I'm hunted by their voices, they say all heathens must pay. Influenced by their fire and inspired what to say. Eating noodles every day in the land of the brave. This fire for perfection, living in all my spiritual livings is what's expected. Code name 007, heard that? That's our profession, and flood your streets where we steppin'.
Is you hot or cold? Cause we on fire. Yeah, we back to set this thing on fire. Either you gon' ride or you gon' die. Feel that fire. Feel that fire. Yeah, we back to set this thing on fire. Is you hot or cold? Cause we on fire.
Bible on me, I'm a cutter lie. Pull it quicker than a summer ride. 144, we in the streets and we bring the heat when we prophesy. Bring it up. Angels activate. When I read that Obadiah, angels activate. Babylon, they gon' burn in fire. It's on, we ready for war. The kingdom of heaven is ours. We burning them up with the laws. It's time to return to the Lord. It's on, we ready for war. The kingdom of heaven is ours. We burning them up with the laws. It's time to return to the Lord.
Set it on fire, head on collision, we watch them collide. Watching our sins like we cleanse with tide. Cause them divisions, they all finna die. Lord knows I won't let them survive. Look at me wrong, I'ma pop out his ass. If he go up, we gon' bring him back down. Now they 100 rounds, but he feeling that fat. When I step in the street with my brothers 100%, I'ma keep it a gutter. Face to the ground when they see us in public. I seek, I want hiding Christ, gon' put you under. They feeling it fire. I'm a real head hunter. What God put together, let them man put us under. We sending out fire, you feeling that thunder. The longer they sending them more, they get dumber. Yeah, sending that fire, cause you know that we with it. Take them up top and it's off with his fitty. I'm a straight rider, Tupac, not no biggie. Taking the kingdom, I'm screaming out, give me applying that damage to whoever sent it, cause that's what it is. Certain play don't wanna trick us to sin. One lion, no rabbit, them trick for them kids. Ain't no what a house and they fight them pigs.
Is you hot or cold? Cause we on fire. Yeah, we back to set this thing on fire. Either you gon' ride or you gon' die. Feel that fire. Feel that fire. Yeah, we back to set this thing on fire. Is you hot or cold? Cause we on fire.
been making violence, killing brothers, switching riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profit's here, so boy, you better. You been making violence, killing brothers, switching riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profit's here, so boy, you better man up. Cause the profit's here now. You better man up.
Hey, bring that out.
Cause the profit's here now. See hanging on the corner, see hanging on the streets. Somebody run up on you, someday you never see. I got that Bible on me, don't need no gun. You got them questions, I get it like everyone. Looking like I come for war, even when I come in peace. 3 times I prayed to the Lord, 3 times I turn to these. Pop out to the club, sipping on that cup. Everything you do, I done did and I gave it up. You been making violence, killing brothers, switching riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profit's here, so boy, you better. You been making violence, killing brothers, switching riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profit's here, so boy, you better man up. Cause the profit's here now. You better man up.
Hey, bring that out.
Cause the profit's here now. Making violence, killing brothers, switching riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profit's here, so boy, you better. You been making violence, killing brothers, switching riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profit's here, so boy, you better man up. Cause the profit's here now. You better man up.
Hey, bring that out.
Cause the profit's here now.
So you think you a man, cause you pushing them drugs, while I'm taking care of my family and showing them love. And you thinking you high, well I'm thinking you not, cause what really makes you a man is keeping the laws of God. Wait a minute, let me tell the truth. Life and death is set before you, what you gon' do. And if you wanna get them demons from above you, and I suggest you start repenting, man.
You been making violence, killing brothers, switching riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profit's here, so
boy, you better.
You been making violence, killing brothers, switching riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profit's here, so boy, you better man up. Cause the profit's here now.
Profit's here, yeah. You better man up.
Profit's here now.
We the saviors of the
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Welcome back to Man Up Mondays. Today's topic is Zionism and Christianity, global terrorism and deception. So we're going to cover quite a few topics in this. I know for the last, I'll say couple of weeks, no, actually the last month or so, we've been touching and really going in on Amalek and uncovering his wicked deeds. And the Lord's been putting on a global scale or global scene to be shown for everybody. So now, everything that the Israelites been talking about for all this time, people start to see that this is the wicked that the Bible speaks about, and the people that the Israelites been talking about all these years, they're right. All right. So we're gonna start from the beginning. We're gonna start at the beginning. Genesis chapter 4, verse 7.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 7. If thou doest well.
Start at verse 1.
Verse 1. And Adam and Eve knew his wife. And Adam knew Eve his wife. And she conceived and bare Cain and said.
So now this is outside. They were kicked out of the garden. This is after they were kicked out of the garden. So Cain and Abel was born outside of paradise. Now, we've been going over these classes, so you should know this by now. Go on.
I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel.
So Cain was the first one born, then Abel was born afterwards. There's nothing new under the sun. Go on.
And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground.
Read.
And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering.
So the Lord had respect unto Abel and his offering. So you had two different scenarios. You had two different people that are brothers gaining one of the same instructions. Cain as well as Abel received instructions from the father, Adam and Eve. Prior to that, when Adam sinned, as well as Eve sinned, and Adam listened to his wife, they had to give up an offering. So obviously, Adam taught his sons about sacrifice. Cain decided that He didn't want to get the correct sacrifice. He wanted to give fruits. He wanted to do his own thing, self-willed. Abel, being righteous, gave the correct sacrifice according to what his father commanded him. Read on.
But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen?
So Cain got angry over no reason for him disobeying the order that God gave them to both of them. He told him, hey, listen, this is the way I want it done. Cain, because with the wickedness of his spirit, remember, not everybody is the same. Yes, everybody has choices on this earth to choose good and evil, but you have a people that was planted as the wicked on this earth. So Cain had to decide. He had the choice to choose right, but he'd rather choose wrong because why else in his nature? Go on.
If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted?
If you do it well, if you keep my commandments, do what I command you, shall you not be accepted with me? Go on.
And if thou doest not well,
if you decide to disobey my commandment, read.
Sin lieth at the door.
Sin is going to lie at the door. Every door, opportunity, everything that you open up to, sin's going to meet you there. Read.
And unto thee shall be his desire.
And unto Satan, unto you shall be Satan's desire. So Satan will be, desire will be unto you. Go on.
And thou shalt rule over him.
And Satan will rule over Cain. Keep going.
And Cain talked with Abel his brother. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. And the Lord said
and Cain, rather than correct himself and say, you know what, I made a mistake. I should have done well. The Lord already told, it was already spoken to me. If I do not well, if I do well, should I not be accepted? If I do not well, sin lieth at my door. So Cain, he had opportunity to correct or make right his wrongs. But he decided, you know what, I'm going to take this further because of that hatred and jealousy that he had from the beginning, because his brother's righteous deeds and his wicked deeds, rather than correcting his wrongs, he decided, you know what, that envy and jealousy stayed up in him. That root of bitterness consumed him and made him into a murderer. That hatred, that anger, that covetousness for power, the desire to be seen and accepted made him a murderer. Go on. That's it. So real quick, hold that. I want to get the article. Well, not the article. I want to get the page in the book. Okay, let's get it. What the page, the section 255 says Berber, Moorish, and Negro Jews. Okay, we're going to read at the bottom. Yep, no, keep it right there with my brethren.
Berber, Moorish, and Negro Jews. My brethren, you see white man bad too much, ugly too much, no good. You want sabi how man like that come to live in the world? Well, I tell you, Adam and Eve, they colored people.
Adam and Eve? We knew that. Actually, start up with this. This is a development from Bishop Matthews' congregation.
This is a development from Bishop Matthews.
So those of you that don't know who Bishop Matthews is, he was one of the people that Abba Bivens congregated with, or started the, I think it was part of the commandment keepers back during the time in Harlem. So Bishop Matthews was one of the four founders of the commandment keepers along with Abba Bivens before he decided to split in 1969 and create the original school of UPK. Go on.
This is a development from Bishop Matthews' congregation. It has received no help from the white Jews and observes that the white Jewish papers call them fakers. But my friends, we are not fakers.
He says, Bishop Matthews says the white people that call themselves Jews, the Israelis, they say we're fakers. But Bishop Matthews says, no, my friend, we are not fakers. He understood the history because they will say that, you know what, the black Jews in Harlem, they was looking for some type of sense of identity, so they took on the culture of the Israelis or Amalek that calls themselves Jews. He says, no, we didn't take on their culture. We're not fakers. Read.
Every black man is a real Hebrew.
Every black man, Bishop Matthews understood, is a real Hebrew. They were able to go into the prophecies. They understand the scriptures. Even back during the time period prior to the 1960s and before, we knew that we were the Hebrews.
That's
Read.
right.
Whether he knows it or
And
not.
can you find a picture of the commandment keeper? So those are the brothers and sisters online that don't know. This is a long journey. Where we are right now, we have our forefathers brought this truth from where we are right now. They brought this fruit from the early 60s and before that. Go on.
Whether he knows it or not. We as a race do not know who we are.
Bishop Matthew understood. We as a race of people do not know who we are. Why? Because the people that call themselves Judas Corner Faith, they know the history. They have the paperwork. They have the records. They have the slave archives of our names. When we came off those slave ships that we had Hebrew names. But what do? They changed our names. They changed our last names. They gave us their names. They gave us their religion. And they gave us the nationality they want us to portray us to be. So they hid us from who we are. It's not that we're fake. No, we're the real Jews. We're the actual Hebrews. But because of years of indoctrination and slavery and the hiding our identity is the reason why the mass blacks of America don't know who they are. Go on.
Thus, race discriminations are always repaid in their own coin.
Mm-hmm.
Compare Winwood Reed's report of a Sierra Leone Negro preacher's sermon some 70 years ago. My brethren, you see?
Now he's going back into a Sierra Leone preacher around 70 years ago. So this is during the time Bishop Matthews. If you go back to a Sierra Leone preacher, now, show that for the people. So they can see the commandment keepers, our fathers in the 1960s or so in Harlem. Now, you might say that, they have certain aspects of something like the prayer shawl that Amalekites or Amalek represents. And they have they call the Magen David. That's, even though we understand that's incorrect, they adopted that because they was coming into identity. They was coming into culture at that time. So they know who they were. But they still didn't have the breadth of life. Remember, the sinews, the 1960s and so was a time period of the Valley of the Dry Bones, or the bones coming back up to life, some type of life, or bringing something, or start to incorporate some type of nationalism into their curriculum, into the I'll say Black American curriculum. Now let's go back to the book with the part with Sierra Leone.
Thus, race discriminations are always repaid in their own coin. Compare Winwood Reed's report of a Sierra Leone Negro preacher's sermon some 70 years ago.
Winwood Reed's report of a Sierra Leone Negro preacher's sermon. Now we're going to the continent of Africa, about 70 years prior to what Bishop Matthews stated. Go on now.
My brethren, you see, white man bad too much, ugly too much.
He says the white man is the devil. He's bad too much and he's ugly too much.
No
Go
good.
on. He's no good. We understood back at that time period before, like I said, when they gave us the certain benefits that we have today, that the white man's never been good. We understood who the enemy was back then. We had some type of common sense. Read.
You want sabi how man like that come to live in the world?
You want to understand how a man like that come to live in the world? Read.
Well, I tell you.
I'm going to tell you how he came into the world. Read.
Adam and Eve, they colored people.
Adam and Eve, those people, actually, they colored people. Read.
Very handsome.
Very handsome. We knew Adam and Eve were colored people and very handsome. Read.
Live in one beautiful garden.
Live in the Garden of Eden. Very beautiful. Read.
There they have all things that be good.
Mm-hmm.
Plantains.
They had everything that the earth, that they could desire. The earth yielded strength back during that time period. Read.
Yams.
Plantain yams.
Sweet potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Foo-foo palm wine.
Uh-huh.
Hi, too much.
Go on.
Then they have two children, Cain and Abel.
Then they had two children, Cain and Abel. Read.
Cain no like Abel's palaver. One day he kill him. Then God angry and he say, Cain go hide himself. He think him very clever.
Go to the next page. Next page.
He think him very clever. Hey, God say again.
Enlarge it for the people. Come on. Go on.
Cain, you think I know see you? You bush nigga, eh?
He said, Cain. God. You know Jake. Jake is very humorous when it comes to our delivery. He said, nigga, you bush nigga, you think I don't see you hiding? You think you could hide from God? Go on.
Then Cain come out, and he say, yes, master, I live here. What the matter, master? Then God say in one big voice, like the thunder in the sky, where am brother Abel? Then Cain turned white all over with fear. That the first white man, brethren.
So the Negro, he said, that's the first white man, brother. What is he getting that from? You have Negro preachers during the time periods prior to Bishop Matthews and Sierra Leone understood the history between Adam and Eve. It's only in this time period because you have the World Council of Churches as well as the National Council of Churches came through with Christianity and made sure all the Negro preachers was teaching the same thing. Teaching the same sermon that Adam and Eve and all the people of the Bible were white. But we understood during that time period that we were the Jews. Nat Turner knew who he was.
That's right.
Now, certain traces of us, certain elect of us knew who we were, like Gabriel Prosser. We used the Bible as a book of insurrection in order to do our exploits. And many of the rebellions was inspired by the readings of the Bible, by the insurrections or the rebellion that our fathers and mothers did during that time period. Now, the Negro preacher understood that Cain, the curse that came upon Cain, was for his pigmentation to be taken away from him. And he said, that was the first white man. Now let's go down. Now let's go back. Let's go to verse 12 now.
Genesis chapter 4 and verse 12. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength.
We just read the Negro preacher from Sierra Leone. In the garden, many good, bountiful fruits came forth from it, like fufu palm wine, yams, potatoes. The earth at that time yielded its strength. Go on.
A fugitive and a...
But because of Cain, this is prophecy. This is future prophetic prophecies that was going to happen during the time period when Cain would come back on the earth as Esau, when they come and rule during their time period. That's why you see today in America, they have many different genetic modified organisms that they're implementing because of the earth is not yielding its strength. In the land of Israel today, you see it. Israel is supposed to be, I would say, fertile. Israel's a part of Northeast Africa, and they call Africa the Garden of Eden because Africa was part of the garden. Deacon Malachi went over this. And it gives a different, in Genesis 2, it gives you the locations, pinpoints the location from the river Pison, from all the 4 rivers or so, encompassing Africa, Syria, all the way, what they call the Middle East. Today, the land of Israel was huge back there, or the Garden of Eden was much bigger than what the land of Israel is today. Israel is in Northeast Africa. Africa, they call it the Fertile Crescent because the land was fertile. Today, Israel is a desert. It's a desolate place. It's a waste place where natural resources not as not as abundant, thank you, as it used to be. Go on.
A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth.
A fugitive and vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. Can you get me the word fugitive? Look up the word fugitive. Yep, fugitive. So a fugitive, Cain will be, prophetically, Cain will be a fugitive and a vagabond on the earth. Okay, let's bring that up. Fugitive. Let's get fugitive. Read it again.
A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth.
A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. Now, fugitive. Let's read that.
Fugitive, a person who has escaped from a place or is in hiding, especially to avoid arrest or persecution.
Keep that in mind. A person who has escaped from a place or is in hiding. I'll say it again. Or is in hiding. Keep that in mind. Read that one more time. Read it one more time, the definition.
A person who has escaped from a place or is in hiding, especially to avoid arrest or persecution.
So Cain in the future will be a fugitive. He'll be in hiding in order to avoid persecution or arrest, judgment. Now let's get what a vagabond is. Okay,
Vagabond, a person who wanders from place to place without a home or job.
Now, do we have another definition? The one I want is a person who has escaped from a place or is in hiding, especially to. No, that's fugitive. Read vagabond one more time.
Vagabond, a person who wanders from place to place without a home or job.
Without a home or without a job. I want you to keep that in mind because you see it. Esau, when they came back in rulership with the Ottoman Turks, they came in power, and one of the first places they overtook was Constantinople when they battled us. And they took that from us. The Ottoman Turks, as we read before, were Idumeans, Edomites. They took the land in 1453 or the 1400s during the Renaissance when Rome or Esau came back in power. Later down the line, you have the Amalekites took the land of Israel. Why? They came from the Caucasus Mountains. They came within a whole region between Russia, Georgia, and the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. If we get up the map real quick to show their actual location. The Bible calls that the bottomless pit in Europe. The bottomless pit where there's no natural resources, where they're going to go right back in the caves of the Caucasus Mountains. If you give me the map of the Caucasus Mountains to show you where they originally came from. Come on. A fugitive and a vagabond. Meaning they'll be in hiding, escape to avoid arrest as well as persecution. And a vagabond, meaning they don't have a natural dwelling place or a job. Can you give me a map of the Caucasus Mountains? A map. And then when it says that they don't have a job, when do you see the white man ever work hard in his life? For the time period when they came up, and as the Ottoman Turks, they came back in power as Spain. They came back in power as Portugal, as the Dutch. When did they ever work the plantation, work the fields? No. They came, and the first thing they did as the Portuguese, when they came up during the Renaissance period, they enslaved us. Under St. Nicholas V of Rome, he's the one that issued the edict in order to enslave blacks in Portugal. And to us, not only enslaving, he enacted a slave trade, and he put the paper bull in order to enslave us and force Christianity on us on the continent of Africa. And 10 years later, you have Pope Alexander VI gave an edict or order and signed a paper bull for the conquistadors or the Europeans to go to the Americas to enslave us, to take the resources in the land, and to colonize us. So a fugitive and a vagabond means they never worked. They always used us for physical labor, to reap the benefits of slave labor. They never put the hand to the plow one day of their life, but they called us shiftless. They call us lazy. They call us no good. But we're the ones that built this country from the time period when we came in slavery. When they took us from the continent of Africa, they enslaved the natives, the Puerto Ricans, the Mexicans, the Haitians, the Dominicans. They forced us to work the fields. They colonized us, and they never lift a hand. But we're the lazy and shiftless ones. When we built America, we built the White House. We built the comfort that they live in today. When the wealth that they obtained from the slave trade, one of the biggest, I'll say, economical producing wealth machine ever to exist. And they saying that we're lazy. They never had a job in their life. They are bums. But we're lazy. That's that psychology that they use. But name me, when did a white man ever lift their hands? The only thing they lift was a paper and a pen. They signed laws. And they warred. And they killed people and enslaved them to do the work. They never lift their hand. They never tilled the ground. They never farmed the ground. They never did anything productive towards this earth. Now, you got what I want? The map. This is where they originally came from. Between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. You see where Russia is? We call it Russia, Georgia, Ukraine. All these areas, you have Poland, Russia, Czechoslovakia, all those areas, Poland, Russia, Germany, all those areas between Europe. That's where they came from. Now let's go back. So a fugitive and a vagabond will they be? Keep going.
And Cain said unto the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth.
My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, now he's not talking about the punishment of that time. Remember, this is all talking about further future events. Go on.
Behold, thou hast driven me out from this day from the face of the earth.
Read.
And from thy face shall I be hid.
And from thy face shall I be hid. What is it talking about? And from thy face and I shall be hid. You can't hide yourself. Cain, everybody know who Cain was. Cain and his children was famous. During that time period, the reason why the flood happened and the children of God had sex with the daughters of men, Cain corrupted the earth. Cain corrupted the earth during his rulership, him and his children. Go on.
And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me.
And it shall come to pass, everyone that findeth Cain shall kill him. What do you mean by everyone that findeth him shall kill him? Now Cain says, this day I shall be hid from the earth. Remember, we went over that before. Deacon Malachi touched on it. Give me Wisdom of Solomon chapter 10 verse 1. The way Cain killed Abel is the same way he was killed. But this is talking about future prophecy. Everyone that findeth me shall slay me, shall kill me. Go on.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10 and verse 1. She preserved the first father of the world that was created alone, and brought him out of his fall, and gave him power to rule all things.
That's talking about Adam. Go on.
But when the unrighteous went away from her in his anger, he perished also in the fury wherewith he murdered his brother.
Read that again.
But when the unrighteous went away from her in his anger.
But when the unrighteous went away from her in his anger, that's talking about Cain. Go on.
He perished also in the fury wherewith he murdered his brother.
So the same way Cain murdered Abel is the same way Cain was murdered. And likewise. Now let's go back.
Genesis chapter 4 and verse 15. And the Lord said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance.
Verse 14 again.
Verse 14. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid.
And from his face, from their face shall Cain be hid. Read.
And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth.
And Cain shall be a fugitive? Because wait a minute, it's not talking about during the time period of Cain. Because why do we say it's not talking about? He says, I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond upon the earth. Cain, same way Cain was murdered brutally. Abel was murdered brutally. It's the same way Cain was murdered. He was murdered brutally. So he paid for his crimes. A fugitive is one that escaped, is on the run, escaping punishment or persecution for the crimes that they committed. And a vagabond is a person that doesn't have a dwelling place, going place to place, not working, a bum. But Cain paid for his crimes. He was murdered in the same way. That's what it go to Genesis chapter 9, verse 6. That was based upon the law.
Genesis chapter 9 and verse 6. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God made he man.
That was the royal law that was implemented during that time period. So eye for eye. The blood that Cain shed, it was the same blood that was going to be shed upon him. So he paid for his crimes. That's why we say it's not talking about that time period. It's talking about these times. We read the article. Cain came back. We read an article that the Negro Sierra Leone preacher said that he became the white man. Now let's go back.
Genesis chapter 4 and verse 14.
So the part when it says, and it shall come to pass that every one that seeth me shall, read that part again.
And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me.
Everyone that findeth me shall slay me. Get me Isaiah chapter 14, verse 16. Everyone that findeth Cain shall slay him.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee.
Remember, Cain says, behold, I am now hidden before you on the face of the earth. Everyone that fighteth me shall slayeth me. So Cain, coming back, there's no end of all the spirits. Everybody that was in the past will regenerate back into the future. Everybody, I'll say it again. Give me that real quick in Ecclesiastes. So just in case people don't understand regenerations. Ecclesiastes chapter 4. I think it's verse 6 maybe. There's no end of the people. Ecclesiastes, no, that's not what I want. Where is that? There's no end. Okay, verse 16. 4 verse 16.
Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
There is no end of all the people.
From the time period of Genesis all the way to now, there's no end of the people. All the nations that were during the time period of Adam and Noah, there's no end. Go on. Come on.
Even of all that have been before them.
Even of all. There's no end of the people. Even of all that have been before them. What he's talking about? From the time period of Genesis, the beginning. There's no end of the people. There's something called regeneration. All those spirits that died prior to the flood came back and regenerated through the three fathers that Noah had, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. All nations prior to the flood came back through those fathers. Read.
They also that come after shall not rejoice in him.
All those that come after shall not rejoice in who? In him. The same person that came back with those nations. I'll say it again. The same person that was in the garden with those nations. Read that again.
They also that come after.
They also, the other nations that come after that regenerate back on the earth, read.
Shall not rejoice in him.
Because they didn't rejoice in Adam during that time period. Remember, all of them were envious of Adam. None of the nations that came back, that will come back afterwards, will not rejoice in him. When he comes back on the scene. Go on.
Surely this also is vanity and vexation of spirit.
Now, let's go back. Now, Isaiah chapter 14, verse 16. Isaiah 14, verse 16. Come on.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying.
They that see, remember, Cain was hidden. But they that see thee shall look upon thee and say what? Read.
Saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble?
How would they not know this the man? This is the wicked that they're saying. Is this the man? The nations will finally unveil the wicked man that the Lord's been speaking about from the time period of Cain. This is the man from the beginning. Because why? This man was hidden on the earth. Was hidden behind his policies. Was hidden behind his democracy. Was hidden behind his Christianity. Was hidden behind his scientific discoveries. Was hidden behind his nuclear bomb. Was hidden behind his policies. Was hidden behind NATO, the UN. Go on.
That did shake kingdoms?
Is this the man that did shake kingdoms? Go on.
That made the world as a wilderness?
Is this the person? Is this the wicked that the Bible's been talking about the whole time? Is this the wicked on the earth? Is this the son of perdition that did shake kingdoms? That did destroy Yemen? That did destroy Iraq? That did destroy Palestine? That did destroy Gaza? That did destroy Libya? Is this the man that destroyed the 7 countries in Africa? Is this the man? Go on.
And destroyed the cities thereof?
And destroyed the cities thereof. We're reading that this is the man that the Bible's been prophesying from the beginning of time. This is the terrorist of the Bible. This is the global terrorist. But how does he do it? He hides it in his words. They will say that, the militants or the IDF militants are going in, the ground troops are going in to save the hostage. But you have Hamas, they will say Hamas, the terrorist organization. Or you also have Iranian Freedom Military. I think they call the Iranian Freedom Military or freedom fighters, something like that. But Iran is called, or Hezbollah, they call them what? Another terrorist organization. So Esau used a play on words to hide themselves, to hide their wickedness, to hide their crimes. They would go in, they will make up a lie, and they will bomb the countries. They will promote, or they will cause civil unrest, overthrow your government, cause civil unrest, overthrow your government, spread the democracy, bring in the filth, bring in the wickedness, bring in the government, their government that they planted, and they say, oh, we're setting up democracy. We're here for the people. No, America is the terrorist organizations that's infiltrating these countries by the CIA, by the jackals. They're the ones are sending their operatives to cause civil unrest. Mostly like Gaddafi. You had Gaddafi, you have Saddam Hussein. All these men, or even, Osama bin Laden. They all were American CIA operatives that studied in America, but that America planted them as the government officials within that country. America planted them. But after a while, they said, yo, this man is wicked. And they decided, you know what, I'm going to stand for my own people. And what happened? They neutralized them and overthrew the government. Now, go to verse 22. So is this the man? Who's the man?
Verse 22. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon.
And cut off from Babylon. The man is who? That man of perdition, that man of sin is Babylon. Go on.
The name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord.
So the man of sin is Babylon. I'll say it again. That man of sin is Babylon. So they says, is this the man? Because why? That man was hidden. So everyone that sees him shall slay them. Give me that in Isaiah chapter 13, verse 14 now.
Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 14. And it shall be as the chaste roe.
And it, who's the it? Go to verse 1.
Verse 1. The burden of Babylon.
Babylon shall be as the chaste roe. Who rules over Babylon? Let's go to Psalm chapter 137, verse 8.
Psalms chapter 137 and verse 8. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. Verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon.
So Esau is the daughter of Babylon. Esau took on all the attributes, the traits, as well as the gods and the political structure of ancient Babylon. Now let's go back.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 14.
Nope, 13, verse 14.
13, verse 14. And it shall be as the chaste roe.
The it is Esau shall be as the chaste roe. Babylon, Esau being the daughter of Babylon, shall be as the chaste roe. Because why? When everybody finds out that America's the wicked, America's the one that's causing all the civil unrest, not only America, but Israel, both of them, big Satan and little Satan. America's behind all those civil unrest, all the destruction that's happening in the Arabic countries. America is behind all the uprising or the military coups in African countries like Sudan. America's responsible for that. America's responsible for the coup in Libya. He was attempted the coup in Venezuela. He was responsible for the coup in Burkina Faso. America's responsible for all the coups in Niger. They're the ones that sent in the CIA operative to overthrow the government. And they don't think that's all going to be Esau, Edomites. The CIA operatives look like you and me. They train them, and they activate them. They blend in during the time period of Philip of Macedonian. Philip of Macedonian, the way he overtook Macedon, he had the, what is it called? The Japhites, or I think Javin. What is it called? The Tertius. I forgot which tribe they were from. But I know Japhet, the children of Japhet, he had some of them employed under him. And he set them in to blend in, and that's how he overthrew Macedon. These are the same, the Greeks always had, or Esau always had the same tactics throughout each captivity. Tertius, I believe, maybe, or the Macedonians. Well, he had Macedonians on his side that he hired infiltrate Macedon. He overthrew. That's how Philip overthrew Macedon and became a Macedonian. Same the way Esau does it. The way he takes over countries, he hires his CIA operatives, and they look like you and me. Saddam Hussein's one as an example. Noriega in Panama, the Panama Canal. Noriega was a CIA operative. Many of these leaders that were set up that he neutralized were CIA operatives that they trained. But a lot of them went against him because they said, I'm going to stand for my people. Now go on.
And as a sheep.
So read it again, verse 14.
Verse 14. And it shall be as the chased roe.
Esau is going to be as a chased roe. Everybody that look upon it, they're going to say, this is the man. And they're going to chase them. Go on.
And as a sheep that no man taketh up.
And as a sheep. What can a sheep do? No man that take it up, that no man that saves. Nobody's going to be able to save the Israelis in that day. Nobody's going to be able to save the American people or any Europeans in that day. Everybody's going to go against them. The Arabs going to go against them. Chinese, the Pakistanians, the Iranians, Egypt, Yemen, all the nations is going to chase Esau and come against her. Read.
They shall every man turn to his own people.
And every man is going to turn to his own people on that day. Everybody's going to go back to their own land. It ain't going to be no great melting pot. It's not going to be the Arabs in Libya, in Tunisia, in Egypt, in Sudan. No, they're going to go back to their land. In Arabia. Go on.
And flee everyone into his own land.
Read.
Everyone that is found shall be thrust through.
Every one of Esau that is found, every one of them shall be thrust through. Read.
And everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
And everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by what?
By the sword.
Shall fall by the sword. Read it again, verse 15.
Everyone that is found shall be thrust through. And everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
Everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. What are we reading? So in Genesis 4, he says, everyone that's, what is it, Genesis 4? Let's go back to that real quick so we don't lose the point. At the bottom of 4. Verse 14.
Genesis chapter 4, verse 14.
The bottom part.
And I shall be as a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth.
That's what it says. Everyone that findeth them shall slay them. Go on.
And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me.
Everyone that findeth Esau, that man of sin, shall slay him. Now let's go back. Verse 15.
Verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through. And everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
Shall fall by the sword. Because why? They shall be as the chased roe. Everyone that findeth that man that has been hiding himself on this earth for all this time. How do they hide themselves? They hide themselves under the banner of Christianity. And they hide themselves under the banner of Israelis. We're the chosen one. That's why nobody touched them. Nobody touched them because they use world global sympathy, the Holocaust, for everybody to sympathize with them. Oh, we were oppressed. We were murdered. We were put in concentration camps and gas chambers. Remember Anne Frank? They used that as a political scheme in order to get sympathy. So when they do evil, it's justified. But what about the Holocaust? Anti-Semitic, and they put laws in place to counteract anybody that try to reveal the evils of them. That's called hiding your cards, hiding who you are. That's why it says he shall be hid on the earth. How do he hide himself? They hide himself behind their politics, the democracy, thinking that they're through the democracy that they're trying to create world peace. They have NATO or the United Nations. United Nations was established in order to keep world peace between the different nations. They have the nuclear deals. They thought that they put the nuclear deal in place so that they could keep world peace for the nation for obtaining nuclear warheads so that there's no longer a world war or global war with nuclear fireheads. Even though Esau's the one that's the first one to drop the bomb. He's the one, but after he dropped the bomb, okay, let's put a nuclear deal in place so that nobody else gets nuclear armaments. But he shared it amongst his own people, his own brothers. Read that again.
Everyone that is found shall be thrust through.
Everyone is found because they've been hiding themselves not only through their politics and democracy, establishing world global peace, as if they're this, when it says, don't marvel that Satan himself even shows himself as what? Get that real quick. 1 Corinthians. An angel of light. They hide themselves behind the democracy. The democracy is the religion. Christianity and democracy is one of the same. 1 Corinthians chapter, I think it's 2 Corinthians maybe? 11. 2 Corinthians 11. Thank you. Verse 14. And they hide themselves behind their religion, their Christianity.
2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
Satan himself, Esau, the wicked man, the devil himself, transformed himself as a what?
As an angel of light.
As an angel of light. That's how they hide themselves. Give me Job 9:24. They hide themselves and transform themselves as an angel of light. Why did they do that? To hide themselves as the wicked on the earth, so that you don't persecute them, you don't prosecute them as the wicked. Because they use psychology and brainwash you, thinking that, oh, these are the God's chosen people. These are your St. Peters. These are your St. James. These are your St. Thomas. These are your St. Matthews. These are your St. Luke. They hide themselves as an angel of light. They hide themselves behind the Bible. They hide themselves behind their politics, their democracy. They hide themselves saying that they're the Jews, they're the Israelites. They're the rightful owners of the land, even though they're Zionists, and Zionists don't believe in God. They're what you call atheists. They hide themselves behind their religion, their politics, their policies. They hide themselves behind the images that they whitewash during the Renaissance period. Set themselves as God and Christ. That's how they hide themselves, so that people won't bring judgment upon them as the wicked. Go on.
Job chapter 9 and verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Read.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
Why would he cover the face? So he could hide himself. He will cover the faces of the judges and paint himself in the image of Paul, in the image of Peter, in the image of Ezekiel, in the image of Adam, in the image of Christ, in the image of God. He hired himself by painting himself as the judges of the earth. So nobody will look at him as the wicked on the earth, but they will look at him and say, that's Jesus. Why would you prosecute Jesus? Why would you bring charges against Jesus? Jesus is the judge of the earth. So you know what? Let me set up the United Nations. Jesus is in power. Jesus is in power as the rightful judge. Oh, you want financial relief? Guess what? Jesus was sent. Jesus says, take no thought of what you need, for he knows what you need. So what did they do? They sent the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. If there's any type of natural disaster or war disaster with that country, the IMF intervenes and sends financial relief, military relief, or food relief. They hide themselves behind the agencies. Now, what do I want? Let's go to Ezekiel 28, verse 6.
Ezekiel chapter 28 and verse 6. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of God, behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations.
Read it again.
Behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee.
Wait, read it from the top again.
Verse 6. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of God, behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee.
Therefore, because now Ezekiel 28 is going into Tyrus. Esau is the prince of Tyrus, a hip word. It's just another name of Esau taking in the attributes of Tyre during the time period when they were a maritime power. Thank you. They controlled the import as well as the export. They were like your Walmarts today. They were like your Amazon today. They controlled the merchandise. They had that on lock. So they were an economic power structure during that time period, and they controlled the imports. So you have what is called in the land of Tyre and Zidon. I forgot what it's called, but yeah, let's keep reading.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, because thou hast set thy heart as the heart of God, behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee.
Because they set themselves, because thou hast set thy heart as the heart of God. They put themselves in a mindset that they're God. They painted the image and the likeness and the image of God. Why? Because they hide themselves. So the world will never bring judgment or prosecute them. Go on.
Behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee.
I will bring strangers upon thee, terrorists upon thee, real terrorists that will terrorize you. Go on.
The terrible of the nations.
That one is called test of real terrorists. You want to see, they haven't seen terrorists yet. He says, therefore I will bring strangers upon you, the terrible of the nations. I'll bring real terrorists upon you to terrorize you. Go on.
And they shall draw their swords against
and the other nations, the Arabs, the Yemenites, the Yemen, Lebanon, Syria, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Pakistan, China. All these nations, God is going to Turkey. Read it again.
And they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom.
America, every nation is going to draw their sword against the beauty of America's wisdom. Go on.
And they shall defile thy brightness.
And they're going to defile thy brightness because America portrays themselves to be an angel of light. Don't think it, don't marvel that Satan himself portrays himself to be an angel of light. The God says he's going to send the terrible of the nations. He's going to send Hezbollah, Hamas, the whole Houthis, all of them, ISIS. Chewy, where's ISIS? All of a sudden ISIS disappeared. Showing that these are all CIA operations that they set up. But you're going to see the real terrorists that's going to rise up. All these nations, they just had a meeting, a global meeting with all the Arabs, and Putin just went to the United Arabs or Muslim Brotherhood, and he had a meeting with them, trying to establish or fortify the relationship that they have with each other. Putin's been going around secretly. I think, I don't know, who knows? Putin might be that man. Putin might be that man of Obadiah. He might be that person. Who knows? But he's Esau, so I don't know. So, go on.
They shall bring thee down to the pit.
They shall bring thee down to the pit. So it says, and they shall defile thy brightness. The brightness is America portraying themselves. Lucifer, saying the same thing, Isaiah 14. Remember, Lucifer means the son of the morning. Dumbass Jay-Z said, Lucifer be the son of the morning. Not knowing what the hell he's talking about. Now he might be talking about the white. Now he might not be knowing he's talking about. We know he's talking about the white man. That's his God. Jay-Z signed a contract as his God. The son of the morning meaning that the light bearers of the world, and they portray themselves to be the image of light, to be the what is in 2 Corinthians chapter 11, the angel of light. They portray themselves to be the angel or God, Christ, the angels, the prophets, the rightful authorities, the governors, the judges. Go on.
They shall bring thee down to the pit.
They shall bring thee down to the, saying the same, Ezekiel is saying the same thing Isaiah is saying. It's saying the same thing Moses was saying in the book of Genesis. They shall bring thee down to the pit. Everyone that sees you shall slay them. Go on.
And thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas.
Read that again.
And thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas.
What verse?
Verse 8.
Verse 8. Okay, go on.
Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee?
Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth what?
That slayeth thee?
Would you not say before him that slayeth thee? Showing you it's talking about the same person. Now we're going to go further into it. Would you not say before him that slayeth thee? Everybody that find Cain shall slayeth him. We just read, Isaiah saith, Moses says, but now Isaiah said, everyone, and Isaiah says, everyone that look upon thee shall slay thee. Now Ezekiel's saying, read.
Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee?
Will you yet say before all the nations God prophesied for you to be destroyed by? That's going to slay you? Oh, I told you what was going to happen for you from the beginning, but you didn't think it was going to happen. God is long-suffering patience. I was saying God is long-suffering patient, and he'll wait. thousands of years to go by to get you. A fugitive vagabond. The only person that could bring Cain up upon charges is Christ. Or may I say, his daddy, Adam. Adam is the only person that can bring judgment to his son. I'll say it again. Adam's the only person that can bring judgment to his son. Go on.
Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God? But thou shalt be a man, and no God.
Will you yet say before the person that slayed you, I am God? But yet you shall be what?
But thou shalt be a man, and
you
no
shall
God.
Be a man and no God. You know who's going to say that? Read it again.
Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God? But thou shalt be a man, and no God.
But thou shalt be a what?
A man, and no God.
Go back to Isaiah 14. Thou shalt be a man and no God. You say that you're God, but God said, will you say before them that slay you, I am God, but you shall be a man and no God. Read that. Verse 16.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 16. They that say thee, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble?
Because they portray themselves as the angel of light, that they're the gods of this earth. But they shall say before them that slay thee, you shall be a man and no God. Because they set themselves as the Lucifer, the son of the morning, or the angel of light. But they're not a God. They're a man. Now go back to Ezekiel.
Ezekiel chapter 28 and verse 9.
Uh-huh.
Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God? But thou shalt be a man and no God.
But thou shalt be a man and no God. Thou shalt be a man and no God. Give me real quick Isaiah chapter 42. And the final person that's going to completely annihilate you is going to show you who's the God of this earth. Isaiah chapter 42. Is that what I want? Is it Isaiah 63? Yep, Isaiah 63. I should not be. Where is that? Isaiah 47? Okay, thank you. What verse? Verse 3?
Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 3. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen.
Why it says thy nakedness shall be uncovered? Because they're hiding themselves. They're hiding the sin. They're hiding themselves as the angel of light. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. The wickedness shall be uncovered. Go on.
Yea, thy shame shall be seen.
Thy shame shall be seen. Is this the man? Go on.
I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man.
Christ says, I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. Now, look, let's go back.
Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 9. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee?
Go to actually Isaiah 31, verse 3. Come on. 31, verse 3. Come on.
Isaiah chapter 31 and verse 3. Now the Egyptians are men and not God.
Now the white men are men and they're not God. Read.
And their horses flesh and not spirit.
And their horses are flesh and not spirit. They don't have the chariots like we do. Now let's go back. Ezekiel.
Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 9. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am a God?
Will you yet say to the other nations that slay thee that I am a God? Read.
But thou shalt be a man and no God.
You shall be a man and taken down as a man, and you're not a God. Read on.
In the hand of him that slayeth thee. Thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised.
You shall die the deaths, so-called white man, of the uncircumcised. Read.
By the hand of strangers.
By the hand of the other. We just read that in Isaiah. They that look upon thee shall say, is this the man? They're the ones that's going to slay you. Go on.
For I have spoken it, saith the Lord God.
Keep reading.
Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sum full of wisdom.
Now he says, take a lamentation against the prince of Tyrus, against this individual. Read.
And say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sum full of wisdom and perfect in beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God.
That's how you know it's talking about Cain. So this is everyone that slayeth you shall now look upon you. Everyone that find Cain shall slay him. Read it again.
Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God.
He's talking about Cain. Cain going back as a so-called white man, Esau. You have been in Eden, the garden of God. That prophecy was for the future for Cain's descendants. Him coming back after the flood, that's Esau. Go on.
Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee.
We're gonna come back to that. But notice how it says every precious stones was thy covering. How do you think America gets it? You think America covers themselves today with rubies, diamonds, gold. They reap the resources from the land that they used to live in. I'll say it again. America, Israel, they try to go back and get the diamonds or the minerals that they had access to before he decided that he wanted to break the commandments. That's why they go back to Eden, go back to Africa, and they take the resources that they once had access to. They go back to the land of Israel. They try to take hold of what they used to have, the place that they used to live, the resources that they used to have. They try to reclaim it. Now, let's go to where I want to go now. Now, this proves that we're talking about Cain. Now, let's go back to Genesis chapter 4, verse 22. No, Genesis chapter 4, verse, what do I want? Genesis chapter 4, verse 14 again.
Genesis chapter 4 and verse 4.
Go to verse 15 now.
Verse 15. And the Lord said unto him, Therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him.
Says, and whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be. Read it one more time. Give me 1 second.
And the Lord said unto him, Therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold.
Whoso slayeth Cain, but we just read that Cain was slain. He was killed. So whoso slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him what?
Sevenfold.
Shall be taken on him sevenfold. Why would vengeance be taken on the other people, nations, sevenfold for anybody that try to slay Cain or his descendants? Go on. Is that it on that?
More on that. And the Lord set a mark upon
that's all
Cain.
I want. That's all I want on that. That's all I want on that. That's all and the Lord set a mark. Now go to do I want that? No, actually I want go back. I went too fast. Go back to Ezekiel chapter 28 verse 13 again.
Ezekiel chapter 28 verse 13. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering. The sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou wast created.
So it said the workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in the day that thou wast created. Can you look up tabrets and pipes? Look up tabrets. Read that one last part again.
The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee.
The workmanship of thy tabrets and thy pipes was prepared in thee. It was created in them. They were given the knowledge of tabrets and pipes. Now let's go to Genesis 4:22. What is it talking about? What is Ezekiel referencing?
Genesis chapter 4 and verse 22.
Now you got the definition? Let's pull it up. Genesis 4 verse 22.
Genesis chapter 4 and verse 22. And Zillah, she also bare Tubal-Cain, an instructor of the every.
Wait, one second. Yep.
Verse 21. And his brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all such as handle the harp and organ.
Now, do you have tabrets? Can you pull it up? Come on. All right, let's read that.
What is a tabret in the Bible? Tabrets have created these instruments of worship to praise and magnify the Lord, as well as to engage in spiritual warfare. Although the word tabret has been changed in most biblical translations to timbrel or tambourine, the King James Version still refers to these instruments of worship as tabrets.
Now you go back to Ezekiel 28. It says, now go back to Ezekiel 28, the bottom verse.
Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 13. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee.
The workmanship of Cain's tabrets, his descendants, his tabrets and pipes is going to musical instruments was prepared in thee. Cain was given the scientific knowledge behind the musical instruments that's created or that we have today. Now let's go to Genesis 4:21. It was prepared into him, meaning he was given that knowledge like today. You see it, they given that knowledge, the scientific knowledge behind the frequency in music. They understand what hurts or hurts to set the tone of the music in and how it affects an individual's moods. How sound waves can affect a person, how it can manipulate them, how music has power or influence over people's thoughts, their actions, how it can control an individual's mood. Genesis 4:22.
Genesis chapter 4 and verse 22.
Verse 21.
Verse 21. And his brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all such as handle the harp and organ.
So Cain and his brother's name was Jubal. So one of Cain's descendant was Jubal. That was the father of all that handled the harp and the organ. Going into musical instruments, they had the science and knowledge that was given to them. You know, music makes the world go around. Music is control. Everything is controlled by music. It influenced everybody. So he was given that knowledge. Go to Revelation 18, verse 21. We're talking about the same people. There's different time periods.
Revelation chapter 18 and verse 21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down.
That great city Babylon, read.
Be thrown down.
With violence. Go on.
And shall be found no more at all. And the voice of harpers and musicians.
And the voice of harpers and musicians, go on.
And of pipers.
Read.
And trumpeters.
Read.
Shall be heard no more at all in thee.
Because just like Cain and his descendants, Jubal, was given the scientific knowledge of instrumentation, how to manipulate music, its hertz and the frequencies, it's the same way America was given the scientific knowledge to manipulate music, to change the mood and control the mindset of the people. Like, for example, now pull up the article with a Jewish man in the music industry. So the so-called white man has music on lock. They're your music executives. They're your businessmen. They sign the contracts. They own the studios. They own the record labels. They're the ones that have power, even though we're the talent that creates this music, but they're the ones that oversee the music and manipulate it. They have the scientific knowledge in order to produce it and affect the people psychologically. They understand how to type into the human psyche, how to manipulate, or I would say illuminate the sins within us. Esau's a master of psychology. He understands how to bring certain fleshly temptations out of us, fleshly lust. He understands how to bring adultery out of us. He understands how to bring the spirit of covetousness out of us through the music. He understands how to bring adultery, fornication, all manner of wickedness, hatred, murder, covetousness, guile, deceit. They push it through the music. They change the frequency, and it controls our mindset. Now, you got it? Come on, man. Yeah. The list of Jewish American business people in the media.
List of Jewish American business people in media. This is a dynamic list.
Now go down, go down, go down, go down. Let's just go. Okay, wait. Let's go. Let me see. Go down. Slowly. Keep going. Come on. Go down. Keep going. Okay, music industry. Let's go to the list.
Music industry. Herb Abramson. Burley Adams.
He founded Atlantic Records. Just keep going.
Burley Adams, co-founder of Mercury Records and senior executive at MCA. Lou Adler, co-founder of Dunhill Records, co-owner of West Hollywood's Roxy Theater. Moses Ash, Polish-born co-founder of Folkways Records.
And notice how it says Jewish list, but it's Polish-born. That's who they are. These people are Europeans. Go on.
Irving Azoff, chairman and CEO of Azoff MSG Entertainment.
Go on.
Founder of Giant Records, co-founder of the Oakview Group, former chairman of MCA.
Keep going. Marty
Bandier, CEO of Sony/ATV.
Now go down. No, that's good. Go to the German one.
Which one?
Go up. Come on. Just keep reading. German-born. Emily.
German-born co-founder of RCA Records.
Say the name.
Emily Berliner. Miriam Beinstock, former senior executive at Atlantic Records. Jerry Blaine, co-founder of Jubilee Records. Scott Samuel Scooter Braun, founder of Schoolboy Records.
Notice how it says Polish in Germany? So all these record labels that you heard of, these are all Jewish-owned. They control the music industry just like they control the music back then during the time period. Can they control the music today? As America and Israelis. Go on.
Scott Samuel Scooter Braun, founder of Schoolboy Records. Edgar Braunfram Jr., former CEO of Warner Music Group, member of the Braunfram family. Leonard and Phil Chess, Polish-born founders of Chess Records.
But they call them Jewish. Esau put the details in writing, but you got to look at it. They call them Jewish, but they said it's Polish-born. German-born. Go on.
Lou Chudd, Canadian-born founder of Imperial Records.
But they call them Jewish. Go on.
Alan N. Cohen, former VP of Warner Communications, now Warner Media.
Go down.
Lior Cohen.
This guy's a demon. Lior Cohen is a demon. Go on.
Israeli-American, co-founder of 300 Entertainment.
Now, here's another one.
Clive Davis.
So these people, now, this Clive Davis is around the rumors to one of the people that conspired with P. Diddy to kill Whitney Houston. And while she was dead, he says Whitney would have wanted us to continue to party. And they continued to party downstairs as she was lying dead up in the hotel. I'm telling you, these guys could kill you and party and sleep good at night and get away with murder. So that's it. Now let's go to the next article. Jewish influence in rhythm and blues. Did I send that to you? Jewish influence in rhythm and blues.
Jewish influence in rhythm and blues. Though the music itself developed.
Now go down. Wait, let me see what I want. Oh, yeah. Jewish-owned record companies.
Jewish-owned record companies and the promotion of African-American music. Jewish composers, musicians, and promoters had a prominent role in the transition from jazz and swing to doo-wop and rock and roll in American popular music of the 1950s. While Jewish businessmen founded many of the labels that recorded rhythm and blues during the height of the vocal group era, according to Israeli Jewish historian Ari Katorza, although only 2% of the total U.S. population was Jewish, their representation in the music industry was much higher. And by this time, they owned or managed about 40% of the independent record companies recording and distributing rock and roll and rhythm and blues music in the United States.
That was during that time. They only control they said 40%. That's what they say. during that time. But notice how they say they make up only 2% of the population. But where do you see any of the Jewish artists? How is it that they make up 2% of the population in America? They don't have any artists in rock and rolls or rhythm and blues, because you look at rock and rolls, that came from us. Chuck Berry, you have the Howlin' Wolf, all that came. You look at Cadillac Records, they show you how all that rock and roll music, pop, everything came from black people. Elvis and all of them, the Beach Boys, the Beach Boys, as well as what are the other group that everybody likes? The Beatles. All of them copied us. Elvis, all of them, Chuck Berry, all of them got their style from our people. They copied them. Sure, Elvis Presley he's like that dude. I mean, stole our style verbatim. The dance moves, to the hairstyle, to the dress attire. Everything he stole. Multiple artists. Now keep going.
In the decade from 1944 to 1955, many of the most influential record companies specializing in race music, or rhythm and blues as it later came to be known, were owned or co-owned by Jews.
But who was producing the music? Black people. Where do you see so-called Jewish stars or artists or rock and roll artists, R&B artists, jazz artists? You don't see them at all. They were the ones that represented or owned the businesses. So how is it that, and this is not prior to, this is what they say, prior to the Holocaust, around the same time period of the Holocaust. So how are they being Holocaust or being brutalized, but at the same time, the 2% of them own the record labels in America? It don't make no damn sense. They're such oppressed people. How they own, making up 2% of the American population, how they own during that time period when they were supposed to be in Holocaust in Germany, but they have power in America. They have power over the record labels. They own the record labels, but they're being oppressed. They own the music that was being produced by black people. They stole the rights. They stole the catalogs, but they're oppressed all of a sudden.
Stop it.
They control everything. They control all the rights, the catalogs. Go on.
These included Chess and National Records in Chicago.
And you know those catalogs are worth more than gold. You wonder why a lot of these people go off dying, like Michael Jackson. All of a sudden he died. Prince, all of a sudden he died. Billions of dollars. They made more with them dead than they made when they were alive. Because they own their catalog. That's a gold mine. You don't think they know what they do when they put life insurance policies on their artists? We're big money to them. We're liquid gold to them. Go on.
King in Cincinnati, Savoy in Newark, Apollo, Old Time, and Atlantic in New York, and Specialty, Aladdin, and Modern in Los Angeles.
Go down. Let me see, slowly, 1 second. Jewish entrepreneurs.
Jewish entrepreneurs started scores of independent record companies between 1940 and 1960.
Right here.
Many of them focused on black popular music and promoting black talent with their new vocal group sound. Although black-owned independent labels competed with Jewish-owned indie labels in the rhythm and blues era, Jewish entrepreneurs had access to a wide network in popular entertainment that made Jews preeminent in music publishing, talent agencies, and A&R, and record distribution. This network wielded considerable influence in American culture and business.
But I thought the Jews, those people that call themselves Jews, is an oppressed people. How is it that they got control and they started promoting black popular music because of the black sound that we were innovating? Jazz, R&B, rhythm and blues, pop, hip-hop, rock and roll, all that came from, that's the black sound that they were promoting. There were your A&Rs, there was your businessmen, your record labels. They control the rights for everything. But how is it that they're oppressed people in the 1940s, but they gained control over everything out of nowhere? But they make 2%, but they say black people make 13%. Showing that power is on the side, power was given to them by Satan. Satan gave them the scientific knowledge behind the music, the business, how to seize control over these industries, because music makes everything go around. Music influenced everything. China banned hip-hop music, American hip-hop music. Even Jamaica banned it. Some countries does not allow hip-hop music or even swearing. In a country, I know Saudi Arabia, no, I'm not Saudi Arabia. Dubai doesn't allow, if you swear in Dubai, I believe, they'll lock you up. They'll allow you to play certain songs, but not all the songs. So some of the countries ban hip-hop music because of the control it has on the masses of the people, the control to influence the people. You see what they do in China, all these countries, they try to be black. They understand the power that Jake has over the people. Everybody follows Jake. But in wickedness, I'll say it again, everybody follows Israel in the wickedness. Israel is the former of all things. And they know that, so what do? They seize control of the thing that we're good at that could manipulate and control the whole world, and that's through music. Music is able to capture the people's mind in their ears. And they got television, Hollywood, because Hollywood's able to capture the people's minds in their eyes. They got television to capture your eyes, to tell you the vision, and they got the ears to tell you a song. And they got both of you through both channels, the eyes as well as the ears. Now, let's go back. Now, let's go to the YouTube video I sent you. I think that's what, hopefully that's the one. Let me see if that's the one. Let me see, 1 second. Let me go. Is that the one? Pull it up. Let me see if that's the one. Hey, man. Smokes too much. Getting my eyes stuff. What the hell? No, I want the one, Sean Combs, accused of sex trafficking. Did I send that? Pull that up. Hey, pull up, man. I'm gonna take this thing out. Play it.
Some shocking new allegations against rapper Sean Combs, also known as P. Diddy. The fifth lawsuit in the last month was filed against him today, and CBS 2's Lisa Rosner is in our newsroom with more on that. Lisa?
Well, Christina Maurice, the woman bringing this latest lawsuit, says she was only 17 when she was a victim of sex trafficking and gang rape by Combs and his associates. That's why the lawsuit is filed by Jane Doe. According to the filing, she says she was in the 11th grade when she was out with friends at a Detroit lounge in Michigan in 2003 and then approached by Harvey Pierre, then president of Combs' music label Bad Boy Entertainment. Combs' career was taking off, and she says Pierre bragged that Combs was his best friend and called him. The two men allegedly convinced her to take a private jet to New York City. She claims at Combs' recording studio she was given drugs and alcohol and raped by the two men, as well as a third assailant whose name has not yet been revealed. On Instagram, Combs posted, "Enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy," the statement said. "Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth." We are trying to reach out to Pierre for comment. Last month, Diddy and longtime girlfriend Cassie Ventura reached a settlement, and that was just one day after she sued him for allegations of rape, sex trafficking, and domestic violence. In the newsroom, Lisa Rosner, CBS 2 News.
Lisa, thank you.
Now, for those of you that have been following the news, what's going on with Sean Combs, there's a lot of people that they're starting to come down on many of your musicians or artists, Hollywood, mainly black people in general. But he's also starting to come down. But with this incident with Sean Combs, it was Cassidy, right? Cassie. Yeah, that's a Cassidy, Dan. That's a rapper. But I don't pay attention to any of these people anymore. Well, Cassie, she went to court, civil court, and actually sued Sean Combs for sex trafficking, rape. And then when you look at the plaintiff, a list of the things that he did, he had what is called parties every week called freak-offs, when he would use Cassie almost as a sex slave and have male escorts sleep with her or partake in sexual activities with her with multiple men at the time. Music executive, he was sex trafficker to music executives, sex trafficker to artists, R&B artists, and everybody's looking at the music industry As if. Everybody's looking at the music industry, and we look up to these people, Cassie, Sean Combs. Everybody wants to be like them. And he said, oh, she's so beautiful. Look at that. But behind the scenes, you don't know what's going on. She was being passed around by music executives, producers, artists, hip-hop artists, R&B artists. She was being passed around by all these people, by Sean Combs. You have Little Miami, all these artists, all these females artists, you think that a lot of you women glorify, you want to be like that. Sukiana, forget about it. For her to be openly putting herself out there, sexy red, you know they got tossed around. Megan Stallion, all of them got passed around as industry hoes. Every single one of them got ran through. Mariah Carey, they said, I think Jack Wright, she said that she saw Mariah Carey giving fellatio a blowjob. I think, was it to Tommy? Mottola, yeah. Later on, she married him, but she had to give him head. Blowjob. A lot of these, Rihanna's another one. She got passed around to all rock. Now she's openly, you think of Rihanna when she came in my umbrella, Ella, A. Now she's talking about, she was talking about sunshine. You notice the music that she produced when she first came in. It was colorful, it was light, it was bright. It was Caribbean. Now it's all dark. Talking about devil worship, all that stuff. She's wearing see-through clothing. She's been passed around she's an industry hoe. All these women that you women look up to, they've been passed around. They've been over-sexualized. They've been taken advantage of. Cassie slept, I don't know, and they said she's been with Puff Daddy for 10 years. 10 years. So now she said in the complaint that he had freak-offs every week, and he would hire male prostitutes, not only for her pleasure, but for his pleasure as well. And he'll sit there in the corner jerking off, and he'll actually partake in the sexual activities. Now you ask yourself, 10 years of doing this, and she was getting paid. 10 years of doing this. You can imagine how many men she had to do that with, how many men she slept with? Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of men. But we look at these women, we say, oh, they're gorgeous. No. These people, that's not our lifestyle to glory. Because that lifestyle, that industry is owned by Esau. That power was given to Esau. The executive, Clyde Davis, actually is the one that gave Sean John the money to start Bad Boy. So he's a student of Clyde David, and Clyde David was one of the Jewish executives that we read on the list that gave Sean Combs, the starting money to start Bad Boys, and they call him his sex slave with Clyde Davis. Now, let's go to Matthew 16, verse 25.
Matthew chapter 16 and verse 25. Mm-hmm. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it.
Whosoever will save their life in this world, you trying to maintain the state of this world, you trying to live the riches lavishly, keep up with the Jones, watch shows, that covetous spirit rising up in you because you watch shows as Black Ink. You watch shows such as, what are some of the shows you guys be watching? Atlanta Housewives, Basketball Wives. Was it Basketball Wives? What else? Empire. You watch these shows, huh? Living with the Kardashians, and because you watch these shows rather than reading the Bible, and you get caught up in it, you get that covetous spirit in you, you begin to lose your life. You say, you know what, rather than follow the Bible, you says, I want that, what they have. Not knowing how they got that. Not knowing how they obtained that wealth. Not knowing how P. Diddy got where he is. You don't think P. Diddy, how many men he had to sleep with? That whole diabolical music industry? The filth that goes on in there? Now being exposed? The homosexuality that's happening? All the men being taken advantage of? All the men that they slept with? And you want to get involved? You want to be a rapper? You want to be a star? You want to be an artist? Remember, everything comes with a signed waiver. You got to sign something over. You got to give something up.
I like you, and I want you.
This guy's crazy. Go to keep reading. You got sick.
For whosoever will save his life shall lose it. Mm-hmm. And whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it.
Meaning you lose your life like Moses lost his life in that world. He decided that he didn't want the riches of Egypt. He didn't want the wealth, the fame, the women. He rather to suffer with the children of God. But black people, we want heaven on earth now rather than heaven later. Our kingdom's to come, but you want to live the heaven. You want to live out Esau's heaven. Esau's heaven was built off blood and Satanism. Esau signed the contract. His contract was signed when he sold off his birthright. That's the contract he made with Satan. But you want to make the same contract so you can get the wealth and the fame and the money and the girls. You want all of that, right? Like Drake says, I want the money. No, it was not Drake. Trey Songz. I want the money, the car, the cats, the hoes, I suppose. Yeah. It comes with a price. You got to give up that booty, boy.
Damn.
Yeah, all of them been ran through. I'll say it again.
I tell you what.
The ones that you think that hasn't went, all of them been ran through. Every single one of them been taken advantage of. Keep going.
For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?
What should it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world? I mean, you gained the wealth, the fame. Look at him. He gained everybody. Everybody knows Sean Combs or everybody knows his name, Bad Boy Records. Everybody knows his clothing line, what it used to be. Sean John. But look at that. Everything comes with a time limit. Everybody has a time when you dive into Satanism, when you dive into wickedness, witchcraft. When you sign that contract, the devil, like they always say, the devil always comes collecting. And that's what's happening to him right now. That wickedness is being revealed, but our people want to live that lifestyle when that power was given to Esau to rule over the music industry. But black people want to be, rather than black people becoming independent artists, becoming your own industry, if you create your own record label, but they don't manipulate the music. They don't control the type of content that you push out. Trap music, drill music, kill music, murder music, dot music. Talking about gang violence, rape culture, rap culture, drug culture, pimp culture. When during the 70s and 80s, if we had our own, or even the 60s, if we had our own independent record labels, we could still produce the popular music or the civil rights music that we have, freedom fighter music, or they call them freedom music back in the 60s, or conscious music in the 80s that we produce. We could produce the same music and not change up the message that we had. Talking about oppression, the police brutality, the day-to-day struggles. But nope. We want to read that part again.
For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?
Because you want to gain the whole world. You want to take the same deal that Esau took. I'll say it again. You want to take the same deal and get that same wealth and power that Esau took. The power that was given to him as Cain. The power that was reintroduced back into him when he came back in power. That same power that was given to him. During when he came back as Alexander and the Greeks, when they took control of the whole earth during that time period. And afterwards, during the Renaissance period, when they got regained that power back and came back in power. That power was given to them by Satan, their father. You're not of the same seed. You're supposed to be the seed of the righteous. Go to Sirach chapter 10, verse 9.
Sirach chapter 10 and verse 9. Why is earth and ashes proud?
Mm-hmm.
There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man.
There's not more wicked than a man that is covetous. A covetous man will kill, steal, because allegations now, you have, what's the guy's name that just got caught up in Vlad? He told them, black people always tell on themselves. Keefe D. Keefe D told on himself, and they brought him up on charges as one of the people that was involved in the murder of Tupac. Now, when he testified, a lot of people are saying that Puff Daddy put out the hit, $1 million hit, not only on Tupac, but also on Suge Knight at the time, and he put a hit on Biggie. Because anytime anybody rise up against him, he destroys the career. You notice everybody in Bad Boys, all the careers got destroyed? That's what he called us a narcissist. No Bad Boys artist or record, no artist of Bad Boys survived. Not one of them. Name me one. Mace. Mace made Bad Boys. Mace, everybody in Bad Boy put to death, died, broke, or raped, or has a story. or sex traffic. You got something? So what, you know about them? I don't know anything about the artists. Pull it up again. You know about them, Ezra? Oh, give him the mic. Give him the mic.
There was a book written by one of P. Diddy's artists at the time. It was called Dancing with the Devil, how Diddy did Bad Boy Dirty, and like with the contracts, the foul contracts, the sex parties that's hidden, because the dude was there, and he brought it all out. And he wrote the book a long time ago. It's been at least 10 years since that book was out. Yes.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Oh, there you go, Mark Curry.
That's it? That's him? Dancing with the Devil, Mark Curry. You got a picture of him? Got it? Read that again. Sirach 10, verse 9.
Why is earth and ashes proud?
Mm-hmm.
There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man.
Why is earth and ashes? Why is man proud? Because why? The man today, Esau, this is a covetous man. All the people in the hip-hop industry, a lot of them know what they're getting involved in. Cassie, and this is not more worse than a covetous man. What will a covetous man do? Come on. Come on.
For such an one setteth his own soul to sale,
Mm-hmm.
because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels.
Such a man, a wicked, covetous man, would set his own soul to sale. I'll say it again. Such is a wicked and a covetous man. They will set their own soul. Now, mind you, everybody's soul, you can't really sell your soul because the vast majority, almost everybody on this earth is worshiping the devil. But they decide because of fame and fortune, they want to go to the extra lengths. Even though people are worshiping the devil in Christianity, in Islam, in all these religions and these politics, these different ideologies. But in order to get up, to elevate at the high total pole or in a mass scale, to get fame, wealth, women, all of that, the materialistic merchandises, you have to give something up. What's that? Read that last part.
For such an one setteth his own soul to sale, because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels.
What does it mean? While he liveth, he cast away his bowels. He gave his booty up, or she gave her goodies up. She gave them fellatio. She had sex with the music executives, the record labels. She had sex with the producers, with the recording artists. Can you ask yourself a question? Okay, she's been with a relationship after all these years. After 10 years, she decided now to go against him. Somebody behind the scenes control of what's happening, because no way that everybody's suing or bringing allegations against all these artists. But Cassie originally started off with Ryan Leslie. Cassie's she's not an artist. She has no talent. She's a face. Most of your hip-hop artists don't have talent. I'll say it again. The ones that have the talent are your underground artists. A lot of these artists now are coming up. It's coming out of nowhere. Most of your hip-hop artists were underground before they became famous. The streets knew them before they came with these major record labels. Cassie was discovered by Ryan Leslie on MySpace. He used her as a picture and decided that he made her a star or diamond girl, something like that. He used her picture when she was, I think, 18 or so. When she was 18 or so, during MySpace was popular, and in order to Ryan Leslie to get off, he used her picture, and he called her up and said, hey, listen, Cassie, I want to make you an artist. I'm going to write this song for you. I'm going to use your image, pretty, and, so she never really sang, like Rihanna. She's not a real singer. She's like, yeah, my brother. Yeah. You never really see her sing. They're not singers. They just have the face, the looks that go with it, that can control the mass of the people. Because people judge by the parents. They go by how somebody looks, the attraction. So Cassidy, being beautiful as she is, it's easy to sell her. What do you say? An industry plant. It's easy to sell somebody like that. They're marketable. They have the look. Not everybody that has talent gets recognized or gets promoted. They go for the look. Does that person have the swag? Do they have the style? Do they have the look? Do they have the talk? Are they marketable? Are they sellable? She was marketable. So what did Ryan Leslie do? He had her come over. He trained her up. He taught her how to sing. And he made her an artist, a star. Bad Boys Records got them together, offered a deal. Later on, he stole her from him. And from there, she had this choice. Everybody has a choice. That the first time you go to the party, as soon as you walk in, you see people doing coke. You haven't seen them doing orgies. That's when you turn around. When they try to root for you or try to make sexual events, that's when you turn around and run. There was an artist, put up on the screen, bro. Yeah. There was an artist, a hip-hop artist said that, he got signed to a record label. And when he went to the label, he went to one of the parties that the labels was hosting. He said there was grabbing people's crotches. He saw them doing coke. They was having sex orgies. I think was it Jamie Foxx or Cat Williams that mentioned it in the parties, the orgies that they had. It was Cat Williams that mentioned it. He was like, yeah, they'll go open one door. The males having orgies, women having orgies, all type of filthiness, and a lot of P. Diddy's freak-offs. These are a lot of them were male orgies. So the artist, he said his cousin told him not to take the deal because his cousin was talented too. He walked away from the industry. He decided to go to the party. He saw what was going on. He said, this ain't for me, fam. But he was an up-and-coming artist, so he said, nah, I'm good. He said, I ain't about to bend down. He said, you have to get sodomized, and that's one of the things he said. In order for you to get into the industry, you will get sodomized. All of them been sodomized, or partook in some type of homosexuality. So he left the industry. Countless artists left the industry. They said, I'm not down for that. Some of your underground artists, you see them, they're independent labels. You don't see that as popular or mainstream because they decide that I'm not going to go into that. Kanye West, he said, if you see me on a video with a goat, effing a goat, don't mind that. Why? You think about it. He's having a conversation. All of a sudden, you say, you see me having sex with a goat. Don't worry about that. Because these are the things that you have to do in order to go into that lifestyle. You cannot you think Esau had to sign that contract and you don't have to sign it? You just give it to you for free? He says, such is the man that sells his soul. A covetous man will sell his soul. What do you think Esau did? Get me Genesis chapter 25. So Esau sold his soul. He lost his birthright. You think that you're going to get in the music industry with your talents, and then you're going to go up there high up and make millions of dollars? You think that you're just going to walk in the door. Esau had to rape, murder, kill. He had to sell his soul. And selling soul means his birthright. He had to sell his birthright. And you think he's not going to require something from you? Yeah, you're going to have to sell that booty. You're going to have to give up the goods. You're going to have to sign the contract. Like Esau had to sign the contract. You're going to have to do the same thing. You want to be partakers of this life? Guess what? You're going to have to do the things that he had to do. Go on.
Genesis chapter 25 and verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee.
32.
Verse 32. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?
Esau said, what profit shall this birthright? I'm about to die. What profit is this birthright going to do for me? How's it going to benefit me? Go on.
And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he sware unto him. And he sold his birthright unto
Esau
Jacob.
Pretty much sold his soul. He pretty much sold his soul. He sold his birthright. Go on.
Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils.
He sold it for covetousness. He was covetous for that meat. Pause. He was covetous for the uncooked food. Yeah, he was covetous for that too. Go on now.
And he did eat and drink and rose up. And
so he sold his birthright for food, uncooked food, because he was covetous and desirous of that food. He didn't want to wait. He didn't want to cook it because he's a bum. He didn't want to cook. He always wants people to do the work for him. Now, Esau, now go to Habakkuk 2 verse 4. So Esau pretty much, he sold his birthright. So you're thinking that because he sold his birthright, that you're not going to have to give something up in place of that? That he signed the contract, you're not going to have to sign it too? And you look at the change, the alteration of music today, the way how it is in the 60s, when you look at your Sam Cooke, your Luther, it was freedom music. Or even when it comes to the love music, it wasn't as vile or vulgar as it is today. Or promiscuous or overly sexual. It wasn't until the 1990s, that's when like they have it out there, they're saying that 1990s, the music executives all came together with the private prison industries, and they had a conversation, a meeting, about the hip-hop industry in the direction that they wanted to go. And that's why you had, NWA. You have Snoop Dogg, gangsta hip-hop. It was Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Death Row, Tupac. All of them came up during that time period in the 90s when they supposedly had that meeting in the direction which they wanted hip-hop to go and to fill up the private industry, prison industries. That's when you had the birth of gangsta hip-hop. When it was promoting drugs, killing, gang violence, gang banging, promiscuity, all that culture, that was primarily brought up in the 1990s. That's when it became popularized. What do I want? Habakkuk 2 verse 4.
Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 4.
And we called it music, soul music. The music that we have right now, whose soul you think? Back then, we spent our music was Negro spirituals, talking about oppression. We talk about slavery, overcoming. And our songs was the songs of the Bible. We talk about oppression. We talk about police brutality. We talk about the things that's happened in the community. Kool Herc and all of them in the 1980s. But in the 1990s, all that changed. That's when Esau decided to take over the industry to change the music to represent his soul. Not black soul music, but Esau's soul. Read.
Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
His soul which is lifted up, the white man's soul which is lifted up, is not right in him. That's why when he came up with the conference with all the music executives, they changed the soul of music. It's not black soul music. It's not soul music anymore. It's satanic music, devil music. Because why? The music industry today is a reflection of what's inside of Esau. The music industry is controlled by the people that run the music executives that run the music industry. That's the one that pay artists to push that, promote that type of music. Because if you come with positive music, they won't play that in the airways. But if you come with negative music promoting gang violence, or you have Sexy Red, who's sponsoring them? Who's funding them? Or you have that new Sexy Red, what's her name? Sukiana. And what's that tampon woman? The red light district woman. You have a new art. Where are these people coming from? These are industry plants. They come from nowhere. They have no street credibility. Then no underground records to show for their talent. No shows. Some of the artists, prior to go to the labels, they had shows. They had a fan base. They made their fan base prior to go to the executives or the producers. Where did these artists come from? You have Chief Keef. Where did he come from? What are some of the other artists? What's some other artists? Come on, you young. Huh? Little Dirk? Well, who? Who's he? K Flock? Uzi Vert. Who else?
YNW Melly.
God damn, I didn't know all these people. Little Baby? Yeah, Little Baby. All these artists. Where did they come from? A lot of these people, what's the other guy? I forgot his name. I don't know these people. Well, a lot of these are industry plants. A lot of these people are industry plants. They say, you know what? I'll do this because you think these artists, they're not covetous? You don't think they'll sell their own barrels, they'll bend the knee? You don't think Jay-Z bend the knee? Oh, yes, Jay-Z, bend the knee. All of them bend the knee. Puff Daddy, all of them. Oh, especially him. All of them ran through. Every single one of them. You don't know, but to us, to our eyes, we're like, oh, they wouldn't do that. Look how hard their music go. They'll never bend down. You don't understand the lengths of a covetous person will go to for riches and fame. Think about it. They take a talented person from the ghetto. No money, no class, no education, poverty. And then they can finally escape. And they have somewhere to go. They don't know what's on the other side. They don't know what's evolving in the industry. They finally make it. They finally get somebody to hear the music. And when they go up there, they say, okay, before you sign this, you got to bend over or you got to give me head in the office. They'll say that Diddy will have some of the artists, before they sign the contract, give him head in the office. I'll say it again. Some of the artists, before Diddy will make men bow down and give him fellatio. Before they sign the deal. Clyde Davis, all of them, before they could sign the deal. Mariah Carey had to sleep her way through the top. That's very well known. What did they call her? J-Lo? J-Ho. Jamie Foxx used to make a joke of that. He said, hey, ho, J-Lo, hey, ho. How do you think Jennifer Lopez? She was a dancer. She's not a singer. Jennifer Lopez has no talent when it comes to singing. She's a horrible singer. How did she become Jennifer Lopez? She was a backup dancer. Now she's Puff Daddy's girlfriend. If you're Puff Daddy's girlfriend, best believe he passed you around. Jamie Foxx knew who he was talking about. She was passed down all throughout the industry. Jennifer, Beyonce, all of them. Beyonce passed around the industry, all of them. Danity Kane, they try to talk about, was it Danity Kane? Diddy's group? That's Diddy's group, right? Danity Kane, you notice how they flopped. But one of the lead artists, she did an interview, and she was saying that they dropped her. They was like, why? He says because she refused to do some of the things that they required her to do. So she said, I left. I wasn't doing that. She said, I left. I'm not subjecting myself to the things that they wanted to do that had nothing to do with music. They wanted to pimp her out. I think the main one, I forgot, I think the one all the way to the right maybe, or the main one of them. Huh? Is it Aubrey? She's the one, Aubrey's the one all the way to the right, right? One of they all look alike, maybe the middle. It's one of the two white girls. I think, okay, the one with the curly hair, I think. I think that's her, Aubrey. So Aubrey's the one that decided to walk away. And she said, what did they? Diddy would take the artists and they would auction them out as sex slaves. That's what he was doing. So behind the scenes, you think that they're producing music. No, he's selling them and he's offering them. I think with Cassie, he sent 50. 50 said, yo, he received a picture. He was like, yo, of Cassie getting penetrated. What do you think he was doing? He was putting them up for the highest bidder. He was selling her as a sex slave in the industry. A lot of these female artists are sex slaves. They're prostitutes. High-value, talented escorts. That's all they are. But that's what happens when you deal with a person that spirit's not upright. You go into an industry that's controlled by Satan himself because you're covetous. Don't think a person that's living poverty their whole life, they come up and say, you know what, this is my only chance. So he's saying that I have all this talent, but I can't get into the industry. All I got to do is go on my knees and give you fellatio. Nobody will know. But I'll get cars, you're telling me? You got the video with Justin Bieber, with the Lamborghini when he told Justin you'll get all this. He been molested too. Usher too, yeah, I got all of that. I don't have to do a part 2 of this class. Yeah, find a video with Usher when when he spent 48 hours on his birthday. Find that video. Go to Luke 16, verse 13. We're going to go into some videos. Luke 16, verse 13.
Luke chapter 16 and verse 13. No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other.
You can't serve two masters. He will hate the one or love the other. Go on.
Or else he will hold to the one and despise the other.
Mm-hmm.
Ye cannot serve God and mammon.
You cannot serve God and money. You can't say that you're a Christian or a God-fearing man and you want to serve money at the same time. You can't do the two. Go on.
And the Pharisees also, who were covetous, heard all these things, and they derided him. And he said unto them, Ye are they which justify yourselves before men, but God knoweth your hearts. For that which is highly esteemed among men is abomination in the sight of God.
That which is highly esteemed among men are what?
Is abomination in the sight of God.
Is a abomination in the sight of God. These artists, these musicians that we highly esteem and we lift up, the Bible says they're abomination in the sight of God. We glorify a lot of these artists, but the Bible says they're abomination. You don't understand the things that they're doing behind closed door. You found the video? Yeah. You got it? Bring it up.
This will be yours. So every time you come in LA, it's a little dusty, but you know, come get the front shot of this.
Man.
Man out. Minute.
Woo. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah, when you get 16, you come down there, you gotta, you know, wear your seat.
I mean, I'm 15. You could ride in the passenger seat. I got my permit. Not yet.
No.
All right, 16.
You're not ready.
16.
Let's slow down. Let's slow down, Jess.
Okay.
Let's slow down, okay?
One step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours when you get 16. You're good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
And then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay. I get the mansion?
Yeah.
All right. So where are we off to now?
Where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
I'm going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you wanna do? What you wanna do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang with some girls.
A man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about, kid.
What do you think a grown man is going to do with his 14? A 15-year-old. What do you think a grown man is going to do with a 15-year-old for 48 hours? He says, we can't disclose what we're going to do.
Nigga,
what is a 15-year-old doing at the age, at that time, for 48 hours with grown men in the industry? Same thing with Usher. You got the thing with Usher? Pull up the next video with Usher. I sent it. He says, let's get girls. He thought he was getting girls. But he was the girl. Now you see why Justin Bieber today is the way he is right now. Okay, you can bring that up next. Got it? Pull up.
Come here, don't sit on the bed at night, no homo, no, just don't get close to the bed, don't get close, but it's just like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man, it's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did it.
No, I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not getting in the bed. You know, shout out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, just let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not. I don't want my shot to even I don't want it to come close to the bed at all. I should look like he fresh off a goddamn plane. I should.
Fresh off the garden stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like, check this out. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And I'm
what the fuck?
You see what they call it, a Freudian slip? There's another one. Give me the one where you said we're fabbing them. I think it's a compilation video I sent you guys with all the pause moments that Diddy was doing. And then we're gonna about to end it. We'll do the part 2 next week. I think I sent you a video at the end. You see it? Yeah, that stuff. Let's see, that's the one.
He gave you a shout out in the club, right? Shout out 50, you know what I'm saying? Right on, man. Speaking of the club, right? I heard you tell a story before about how Puffy, he took you to a club before, and you seen a whole lot of weird stuff going on.
Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor
some
Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called.
Well, very curious things taking place. And I didn't necessarily understand it.
I like when you like this, Daddy.
Where you put my bag
Daddy, I
at?
like when you scrambling and scraping for shit. I like that.
You said, I like when you do it like that, Daddy. When you scrambling and scraping for shit.
You told me you'd take me shopping.
He's a nice guy. What did it take to go shopping?
Hey, man.
Leave that alone, man. That shit put to bed.
Y'all had y'all fun, man. Y'all chilling. I'm knowing what's going on. Y'all chill. I'm chilling.
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
Done.
Welcome to Club Love. Hard.
That's the devil right there. And that's why he played Joker. Joker represent, and Usher was sent to Flavor Camp. It's called Flavor Camp. It was just him and Diddy in the house. And he slept in his bed. There was one video when he says, remember when I used to F you in the kitchen by the Frosted Flakes? I slipped his tongue, but this is what happens when you deal in the music industry that ESO has power and control over it, where all the executives are not upright within them. So we're going to stop there today. We're going to continue next week. We're going to do a part 2. It's a little bit late, so we're going to do a part 2 next week, all right? Brothers and sisters, hopefully you got something out of today's class. Shalom. Most High in Christ bless.
Making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. You been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners.